Hello, this is Joseph and Train, and welcome to a new episode of Home of Sound. Home of Sound is the virtual and global home for any music lover to connect, learn, and engage with the electronic music community. We started the platform with this very podcast series to discover and share insights into the life, work, and tools of producers, DJs, VJs, promoters, label owners, playlist curators, and other creators. Since the global pandemic hit, we launched a series of online masterclasses with creators such as Ansom, Scarameria, François X, Swarm Intelligence, Freddie K, Face Fatal, VJ Martinovna, Malika Maria, Lag, VSK, Romek, Manny D, Arjun Bagale, and many, many more. If you're interested in the masterclasses, you can access any of them, also in bundles, on demand at www.homeofsound.co.uk. To say hi, connect with us, suggest new guests, leave feedback, and see what else we're up to, you can find us on Instagram at home_of_sound. And for all the other links, visit linktr.ee/home_of_sound. And now, let's start with today's guest. Enjoy.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
To this chat with Mattia Trani.
Hi. Hi. Hello.
So Mattia, welcome to Home Sound. It's a pleasure to speak with you and to
It's
see
a
you.
pleasure for me, guys. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So let me start with a very simple question. If someone meets Mattia at a house party and they ask you, "Hey, who are you and what do you do in life?" How would you answer?
I think that I can answer in two ways. Depends by the situation, because maybe I have one humble way to answer, that I can say that I'm just a normal guy, so passionate with the music. So I can say only that I'm just a guy with many tattoos, maybe, that is here, that enjoy music, because for me it's the first thing. The other way I can answer is that maybe the professional way to answer. So to say that I'm a producer, I'm a label owner, and I work with music since many years. So depends by the situation. I mean, depends who asking me this thing.
Yes, of course. And like, so you seem to be doing a lot of music, and you also, as far as I see, you also play piano, right?
Yeah. I started to play piano when I was a child, because my father was a big DJ in Italy. So he was a big DJ, but he told me every time, "Mattia, please study the music and learn some seriously stuff about music. So, try to understand and play an instrument." So there was a school when I was 10 years, and I decided to play piano because it was my favorite, instrument at the time, and is it now. I mean, I love guitar, I love flute or something else, but that maybe keyboards and piano are important, for know the range of the notes. Maybe it's more easy to understand piano, how is the things related in music in piano, because that if you study, I know, guitar and other stuff, for me is problem. I mean, like to do music, I play with Logic in studio, and for me it was difficult to understand and learn Ableton. So it's subjective for every people.
Yes. And
So
you remember? No,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I can say that I studied when I was a child. Then I stopped for some years because I played. I understand how to do DJ, because at that time when I was 16 or 17, I understood that my father was really important as a DJ, because before I didn't know. So I say, Dad, please let me know about how to do some things about the DJ world. So on that time, I learned something about DJ, and I stopped piano.
Wow. Okay. So basically, you started doing music, if I hear it correctly, when you were 10-year-old, right? When you were 10.
Yeah, when I was 10, I studied classical music. So like Bach or the old stuff, But then when I was 13, 14, I had a rock band. We did the covers of heavy metal, so like Iron Maiden, the rock stuff, really cool. Yeah. So I can say that I haven't been a big range about music because I learned about rock music in 15 years. I loved hip hop, for example. So I was really interested to understand things about hip hop music in Italy, like Fabio Fibra, Inoki,
the old school hip hop.
Yeah, the whole school hip hop, yes, for sure. And then at 16, 17, I started to do public relation. So
as a PR for a club?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So that's why there was a change, from the music that you listen to the music that you can dance, maybe.
Yeah, of course. And so you were doing it, you were a PR basically for people who don't know the concept, that you were helping the promoter promote the night.
Yeah, because at that time there wasn't Facebook or internet. There was the people that walking around the city with the,
flyers,
the flyers, the papers.
It's a huge stack of flyers.
Yeah, so I started in that way to, with my friends and say, you want to come to the club? There was a club called the Chalet delle Rose here in Bologna that they did some house music like Eric Morillo or some old school stuff. Really cool. So I started from house music and not from techno.
Wow.
This is a cool info that people didn't know or don't know about.
That's super interesting, and I have a theory on that. I'm going to ask you the question, but Chalet delle Rose still exists, the club?
No, because I think it stopped at 2011, I think. I don't remember, and it's still not exists, the club, because now there's some apartments or something like that. So,
wow, okay. They went off, but I have
sad,
a theory.
bro. It's so sad.
It's sad, no, to see the clubs that you grew up.
Many clubs, bro. Because, for example, after that, it was on winter because I'm from Bologna. But in the summer, I went to Riccione because I was born close to Riccione in Cattolica, and there was a lot of clubs at the like Cocorico or Echo's Club, and I went every time in Echo's Club and listened some house music and big artists like Dave Morales. Or Tony Humphries. So every summer I went to Riccione and I was a PR in that clubs,
Okay.
So that many artists starts, the career in that way.
Yeah. I mean, it was the same for me. And it's interesting because I grew up in Italy as well. And I think, what year was that when you started being passionate about house music? Was 2003, 4 or after?
I mean, my father was a disco music DJ. So when I was child, I always at home listened to that type of music. So the records of the black music, or big bands like Earth, Wind and Fire. Really, a lot of black music of the 70s, like the funk, the Philadelphia stuff. And then I started to listen house music when I was, like 13, 14. So I had the experience of heavy metal, but at the same time, I listened out the music. It was a little bit confusing at that moment, but that everything comes in your mind and you process every time, and then you understand everything. And then it was cool to listen to DJs, in the clubs, because you can listen to music like house music or techno, but to reach the sensation, the feelings about the stuff, live, it's another type of thing.
For sure, and it's something that is magic, like especially
magic, bro. It's like magic, exactly, bro. Definitely.
Yeah. And I for people who don't know, maybe they don't know much about the Italian scene, but tech house music was huge in Italy. Like especially early 2000 was a massive thing. Every decent club would play that kind of music. There was special. It was
they did many stuff for the other countries. For example, the other day I was in a cinema in Italy, and they did a projection of the movie called The Disco Rhine, that is 40 years of clubbing in Italy. Wow. So I think that we have a big country that music is so much important since the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, many clubs, man. Many clubs, many music, many artists. We have a big history.
We have huge history. I mean, Italy, we have musicians since the beginning of time.
And not only, I think, in house music and techno, because for example, in jazz and other stuff, also is even important.
Classical music.
Also classical music.
And also to a certain extent, hardcore music. I don't know how much. Yeah, we had.
I was not involved a lot into hardcore music, but when I was starting to play techno and produce techno, I learned something about that hardcore was in the 90s in Cocorico and big clubs, and I had 2 years, so it was impossible for me to see live the situation. But there are many videos and many stories about that stuff, so it's important. My recommend to the people is to understand everything, so to explore every day everything about music, from rock, from funk, from disco, from house, and to techno is really important.
I absolutely agree. And then you reinterpret your way, you make up your own sound if you make music.
Sure.
Super important. And let me ask you a question that is relevant to this. You are a very prolific producer. You produce a lot of records. You have a lot of releases out. We're gonna talk a lot about your album, your latest album in a bit. But you have also variety of skills. Like you don't produce only one type, one style of music. You vary a lot. How much do you think your early experiences with house music, rock before, influence your music now?
Influenced really a lot, I think, because as I told you, every stuff you listen, it's really important, because you don't see maybe on that time in few days, but you see in years, because also to find your right sound is really difficult. As for me as producer, after many years of producing music, I didn't maybe find every time my right sound, but I think with this new album I found it. But it's difficult, every time, because if you are a producer like a musician, you like to do every type of stuff. So I have a project that is new funk, disco. I like to produce hip hop. I like produce ambient stuff, and it's really difficult to find the right way to concentrate everything in a project. So maybe you can find some alias or some stuff to separate it, every stuff, but it's difficult because if you publish a lot of music, people maybe don't understand and they make confusion because you push every music every day,
Yeah, exactly. And I know you have another alias, 051 Destroyer, which is more electro.
More electro and masked, because I have a mask when I play with that alias. But I did only 1 gigs, and it's really difficult to play with a mask, bro, because you don't breathe. It's really difficult.
I use wet.
Yeah. So 051 Destroyer was born some years ago, because that the first time I produced a lot of Detroit music, because my first release was on the 2012 on my label Pushmaster, and was something like Detroit but dub techno, because at that time was really an impact from that sound. So I started from that sound, but my sounds evolved to the Detroit stuff, the real Detroit stuff, because I love so much the American music, and the sound from the pioneers of Detroit, like One Is, Underground Resistance. Yes, exactly. So at that time on Pushmaster, I released some stuff by me, like some Detroit remixes of my Over the Future EP. So I was really connected with
that sound.
But after some times, I decided to move in another way, because I understood that if you're not from Detroit, and maybe if you're not black, and if you were not born in that city, you are not one of them, So I decided then to produce my electro stuff and my Detroit stuff, like Drexia stuff, okay? Like more, a fast techno beats with some electro influence like DJ Stingray. I decided to have only one project, because if you are Mattia Trani and you produce techno, European techno, acid techno, rave, Detroit, it's really difficult, to, as I told you before, to have, one particular style.
Of course, and also like I think people get confused, and it's hard for people to understand who you are. Also, when you get booked for a gig, if you are too diverse, like people will be like, "What the fuck," What am I gonna?
Yeah, because if you want to book you because you play Detroit music, but you arrive at the gig and you play, rave at 140 BPM like regal stuff or 9x9, people say, "What the fuck you're doing, man?" So that's why I decided to do the 051 Destroy Beats, because it's important to have everything cleared and to have for the people a position and the right way of the projects. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And the one question that is interesting for me is, were you scared when you started the other alias 051 Destroyer that it would take you too much effort to then push out music under another alias? Or for you was like, it's better this way because I focus on Mattia Trani now?
Yes, the second one, the second option you say. I mean, I love to do the stuff, and depends in every time in a year. For example, if in a day I wake up and I want to do electro because maybe the week before I was in electro party, I can do it, but without any stress, bro. Because I'm focused on Mattia, because it's important the character of you. If there's many impact of your music as Mattia, as I say, okay, maybe it's better to do music as Mattia Trani, but I love to do everything. So for example, I have a project with Zippo called Midnight Conversation that we do funk music, and we have an upcoming mini album. So depends, depends, man. Depends. And I do everything I do, I try to do with no stress and with no rush. So I did some stuff, for example, this year as 051 Destroyer, and will be coming out, but in relax, what I mean? There's no rush to do things and say, okay, I need to push music, because in my opinion, I did many, many things this year. So I need to be a little bit careful, bro.
Of course. And like, do you think that if you put out too much music, let's focus on Mattia Trani. If as Mattia Trani you release too much, I mean, actually, the question is there too much in your view?
I think that this year I released too much. I'm honest, because we live in a world that is really fast. So you need to be careful to everything what you do, because if you push so much things, maybe some people lost, some music by you. And, I did many things, the album, I did a collaboration in a big major of Italy, Universal. I worked with some rappers. So what was a big was a big goal for me, because but in the same time, if you push so many stuff, it's difficult to promote it. It's difficult to that maybe people understand what you're doing, but maybe people can say, okay, Mattia's putting so much stuff,
I'm lost.
I'm lost, bro. I'm lost. Yeah, definitely. So
and what was it you on Universal with the rapper? Did you produce as Mattia Trani, or was a different alias, or you were the producer only, so you didn't feature?
The original production was for me, because the track is techno, is trance. Wow. So the track is called Vivere, has got some lyrics, and there's the featuring by Franchino, that is a big Italian star in trance music in the 90s. So for me was really amazing. I was so happy to do the thing, because he's a legend. So we did yeah, I mean, it's a mainstream track, because there are the lyrics. Maybe people can say that the trapper called Villa Banks can be mainstream or commercial, but that the track is techno, is trance. So for me, I didn't change the name, because it's always me,
Yeah.
So it's like to say an underground artist come into a major, label with his sound. And for me, it's a goal. You know what I mean?
Of course, I love that, and also I think collaborations, especially when it's not exactly the same style, is even more interesting, because then when you have two artists that would not necessarily do a back to back, for example, would not necessarily collaborate, and they come together.
Yeah.
Then you have a new experiment. Is that like you're creating something very fresh and new,
but connected with your music. Because, for example, if that music would be trap or hip hop, in that case, I can change because it's not me. But for that case, that the track was really techno, I say I put my name because there's no problem for me, you know.
Yeah, and you seem to have collaborated with. I dug into your discography, and you work with Zadig, Donato Rossi, Kenichi. He works on Eva, Fionasa,
many, bro.
Great Fionasa, Lizard, Matasism. Do you remember any specific collaboration that for you was like a pleasure to work on? Any record that came out and it meant something very good for you?
I think that the first stuff really cool that I was really honored to involve with was the first EP I told you on Pushmaster, the Over the Future Detroit remixes was really cool because I worked with Cloud Young from Detroit and Los Hermanos. Gerald Mitchell is one of the guys from Galaxy to Galaxy, the jazz project of Underground Resistance. So at that time, it was like to, if you play football, it's like to work with Totti. You know what I mean? So it was a dream, bro, for me. It was a dream because, work with this musician, because they're not like only DJs. They're really jazz musicians. So when the first time I sent the track to Gerald, he told me, "Man, this track reminds me our time in Underground Resistance."
Amazing.
So, bro, when I received this type of answer, I say, "Okay, touch me. Is this real? It is real." So then we coming out with this Detroit remixes, and it was really cool because the track was playing in Movement Festival in Detroit, and a lot of Detroit people played that track, and that vinyl. It was really satisfied for me. Really
amazing. Yeah, congrats.
Really. So this one was, I can say, this one was the first type of approach of the remixes with big artists and musician, and it was really satisfied. But it's in the same time, I love when a lot of big artists and producer remix me, because I like to see the way how they transform my music in a new track. So you didn't mention it, Juan Atkins or DJ Stingray, but I did a big EP called 313 Times many years ago, and they remixed me on the Night Tripper Records. It's a label of Orlando Vorn.
Wow. Okay.
So when I saw, bro, Juan Atkins is a big legend of techno. He's the originator. He invented the techno music. So when you're in your curriculum, you have this type of collaboration, bro. It's like to say, okay, I did it. Maybe I cannot work, but I did it. I did it, bro. And of course, also DJ Stingray, that I respect a lot, because his music is so much strange, but it's so much genius at the same time. So
very groovy. And tell me more about the Juan Atkins collaboration. That, I mean, for you, it seems to be like a very important person music-wise. How did it come about? Did you reach out to them?
Yeah, the contact was from Orlando Vorn, because I don't know Juan Atkins in person. So for that project, they're working together, and I said, there's this artist called Mattia Trani that is coming out with this EP. Do you want to remix the EP? He accepted, so I was really, really, really involved. But to be honest, when the same summer I went in Barcelona for Sonar, I saw in person Juan Atkins, and he didn't remember about me. Okay.
It happens.
So,
it happens.
It happens, and I was a little bit frustrating about this, and I was a little bit sad. So, everything is not so happy and it's not so flower and sun. You know what I? So,
yeah, of course.
But the important is the music. So if there's the music and there's that remix of you, it remains, forever.
Yeah, of course. And it's still a collaboration. And again, like if for whatever reason you didn't remember, there might be tons of reasons. Might have worked with so many other artists that you can't remember everyone.
I can tell you maybe Ben Sims, because they remixed my first album. It was called the High Tech Mission, the remixes, and I love that project because the artwork of the project is inspired by Tekken. Okay, Tekken 2.
Of course.
So every in the artwork, every character, it's like in 8-bit, like that Tekken 2. So
Wow.
it was really cool to do that stuff. And for example, Ben Sims was really cool because we played together a lot of stuff. And when I went in Catania, I think in Catania in a festival like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Times really go fast. Sorry. He played that remix, and as I told you, that one Atkins at the first time didn't recognize me. Was the same things, but with Ben Sims. But he looks me and he say, "Ah, Mattia, hi, I'm playing the remix." So was really cool. Was really cool because I love when they do the remix. It's like their type of art with my music, and they play it with the people. So
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah,
it's beautiful, bro. And I miss so much this
playing.
And also see DJs that playing your music. Yeah, exactly. Phase 2 was the festival because on Instagram we have a comment. Right.
So we're gonna mention. I'm gonna give them a shout out. Phase 2 festival.
Yeah.
And I have so many other questions that I want to ask you. Let me try to be selective.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
So let's start from this one. Pushmaster Discs, your record label. You started the label in 2012.
Yeah.
And your first release was your music. So very bold and brave decision.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember before starting a label? I have 2 questions. Do you remember any scary thoughts, any fears, anything that you were like, "Fuck, this is never gonna work"?
Bro,
how you worked with that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, but I can tell you that scares and difficulties to doing things and manage a label. There's at the start of the projects, but it's still happening. So scares and lot of thinking. There's always, because I started with Pushmaster in 2012 because I want to express my music, without any people that manage, because when you send the music to other label, maybe they can release your music, but it's not the same as you release your music with your personal touch, with the artwork, to do everything by yourself.
Of course, because you don't have control. You don't know how they handle it.
Anything, bro. Care, anything. That's why I started Pushmaster, and I started Pushmaster because I wanted, this type of things, as I told you about other artists that can work with me.
Yes.
And you can do it if you have another label that, push your music. Because, for example, on 2012, I wanted Marco Zenker as remixed. I wanted Thomas Essler as remixed, and I did it as by myself. Maybe was more difficult to do it with other type of labels, and of course, because most of the labels didn't answer at the time.
Of course, and
that's why we started your own label, because you have the complete control.
Yes, and then it takes more work, but then it's up to you to create what you want. Someone is saying Mattia è il più forte, which means Mattia, you're the best, basically.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I love the supporters and fans. They're so sweet.
Really sweet. And it's great that actually, seeing that the hard work of creating your own label pays off. It allows you to put music out with freedom. You work with people you want to work with, and then you find an audience, someone who loves the music.
Yeah, because I think that I was one of the first guys that did it. because at that time, I remember in 2012, there weren't not a lot of label like today. Okay. So it was really, I can say, different times between now, because also the sales of the records was different. In my opinion, was better at the start.
Yeah.
Okay, now I tell you a sad thing, but was better at the start, because when you start a label, you know, as the catalog number, you know, now I did like 30 vinyls, 30 records, and after years, people maybe miss your music, because I told you that you release a lot. Maybe you can be more famous, so you release in other labels. And if you release in other labels, maybe the people is concentrated of your name and not of your label. So it's really difficult in years to find the right way that people can follow your music and every release, you know? So it was better at the start, because the first EP was sold out in 20 days, the second in 15 days. Now it's more difficult, because maybe the sold of the vinyls is not like years ago, and people lost your catalog. So it was different, but I mean, I like that time and like this time, you know, I try to be positive every time, bro.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing for me is also that you release other artists on your label. And
yeah, sure. Because as I told you that Pushmaster was my label, but was an open community. So the original idea was to start with me, but to open with other artists. So the work with the job of the label owner is to find new artists. It's like a talent scout, you know.
Yes.
So because the third EP of Pushmaster was Ilario Alicante, that is really big famous artist, and it was cool, because if one of the artists like Ilario Alicante asks to you to do a release, it's really big goal. So for me, it was a really big goal. But after time, I started to produce other artists like Miles Serge, or find new people like the 90 Process, like Hadon and Julia Muller, and they are big now. They are famous. So I'm really happy, you know? Or like Adia, that released on Trip label of Nina Kravitz. So I can say that I'm a good talent scout, bro. Definitely.
And so let me ask you two things. One is Ilario Alicante. He was maybe the first big artist on your label, established artist.
Sure.
How did you develop a relationship with him? Did you reach out? He reached out to you?
Yes, and I was a big fan of his music, because as I told you that at the start I was a PR. I remember that on 2007 or 2008, I was starting to play music as a DJ. Okay. And Ilario was really famous at that time with his music with Vacazione Sensile. Was his big hit, a huge track. So when I went to the clubs, I was a really big fan of Ilario as a clubber, you know. And then, but you know that I'm son of my father. So people know me as son of my father, but not as Mattia as a DJ. So after many years, I started to do things, blah, blah, blah. And then Ilario saw that I started his label and told me, hey, Mattia, what you say? Are you releasing some stuff? Because I have a demo really cool. Check it. But I say, Ilario Alicante sending music to me. Okay. So like in 14 days, we released the stuff. We decided to do the things. We planning the remix. It was Rod and Marcus Sukut, and we did it. So it was really, it was really, I can say everything clear, you know?
Yeah.
So it was so cool. So he releases 3 EPs. The second one was with remixes of Rolando and Scudge. Wow. So as you can see, in 4 or 5 releases, Pushmaster was huge, you know, because there were bigger remixes at that time. And then we started to make music, and I received a lot of demos, and the catalog number, you know, went well, and I increased, and I arrived at 30 releases. So for me, it's like a big goal, bro. It's a big goal.
It is huge, and essentially for you being an independent label owner, it's a lot of work that goes into it. in taking care of every single thing. Like for people who maybe never started a label, guys, it's a lot of work. So
and I can tell you that at the start it was more easy, because if you're not famous, you can concentrate with your label. It was more difficult when the catalog number increased, because if you've been more famous, maybe you concentrate maybe for you as your own music, as Mattia Trani, as to send music to more big labels, and maybe it's more difficult to manage, as label owner. So lots of people like big DJs pay maybe a and there, or type of, assistant.
Yeah, of course.
So I didn't because it's like to do stuff only by yourself. I like to do stuff by me, but I understand that time that maybe I can search someone that can help me.
Yeah, and maybe at some point you will. Who knows, right? And who was if I ask you like a couple of artists that you discovered that were not that big, not like Ilario Licante or the Sukut, who comes to mind? Who were a couple of artists that you find a way to discover and then release on your label?
I can say you maybe 90 Process or Adia, they are coming. I mean, they're becoming famous now, but how can you say that one artist is famous or not? It's difficult to,
Yeah, it's that maybe I guess the not famous, but you can say someone who is up and coming, who's never released before, who doesn't have many releases in their discography, and someone who has a huge release that everybody knows about. So Ilario Licante already had established their name, right? And then with 90 Process, for example, you found them, or?
Yeah, I found them because Julian was one of my friends that we played together in Berlin at Treasure Club. Okay. And he started this project with Hadon together, and he told me, we are starting this project, this trance. Do you want to listen some stuff? Maybe you can like it. Bro, I listened to stuff, and in 10 minutes I said, guys, the stuff is incredible. If you want, you have a release. So as a label owner, I'm like that. I like to say, I like your music if I believe in your music. Yeah, I produce the vinyl, I release your music. So that's why I don't like to put only my stuff. I try to be, to put my stuff, sometimes to put new upcomers, because for example, in Pushmaster, the new releases, I did 2 vinyl clear, okay, that is called Pattern 1 and Pattern 2. And they are music that people that I just only like the music, like Grienko. He's a cool artist in Italy, really underground. Adia, the first track was in a various artist. Wu111 is from Italy. Also Matasism come release with this pattern. So I try every time to, to focus on music, bro. To focus on music and not to the big names. Right, I like the big names, but music it's important for me.
Yeah, and when you think about now you've been doing the label for a while and making your own music, like, do you have any new artists that you just discovered, like underground up and coming artists that you're listening to at the moment? Anyone that comes to mind?
Bro, to be honest, at the moment I'm only focusing my album. I'm a little bit selfish now, but I can say that this project is really important. So at the moment I'm focused on this, because I like to concentrate the things when they're coming, in a live way. So I will maybe, for example, the situation now is really chaos, so we don't know how to do it, gigs, push music. But for sure, this summer I will listen music. People is continue to send me music, and I'll always listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense, and I think it's a good segue for us to talk about the album.
Man. Yeah.
So, oh wow, okay, you have the copy.
Oh,
very nice. So this is Scenery LP. This is your latest album, right?
Yeah.
And it's your second album. So you already had done an album before, which is the one you mentioned before, High Tech Mission.
Yeah, High Tech Mission. In 2016, bro.
And so that's super interesting because going from one album to the other, how much has changed in your production approach, in the way you think about the tracks, and in your music?
Really a lot, I think, because you know that it's a process to making music. So if you start in a way, maybe you arrive in another way. So scenery, I can say that it's more powerful. It's more warehouse techno. It's more acid. It's more impact. Okay,
Right.
because High Tech Mission was a concept album between space travels. Okay,
Yeah.
so and it was connected with the Detroit stuff. So, for example, the way how to produce music was changed because at that time I was a fetishist about the hardware and machines. So I use only the original machines. But in years, I changed my opinion. For example, now I use machines, but for example, I use the computer.
Yeah.
But if you use machines, it doesn't matter because the sounds of the machine is so clear, it's so raw. But at the same time, you need to have more powerful sound. For the powerful sound, you need to use more plugins, more stuff that increase the type of the sound and you hear. Because, for example, if you hear the two albums, there's so much difference because the first album has not got the impact of this album because this album is so powerful, dynamic. You listen in a big sound system and you say, wow. The other one was more conceptual, but the sound of this album for me is another stuff. It's another way in better, I think. I think in better, but because you know that artists evolving, increase, you know, transform.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Someone on Instagram around the club is saying amazing 3LP album, Mattia.
Thank you around the club. Thank you guys.
Thank you. And yeah, super interesting. So I want to ask you also something about the moment in history when you launched the album. But first of all, I listened to the entire album when I was looking for how to prepare for this interview, and it's a very diverse album. You have a lot of stuff that is not just monothematic. You have techno, of course. You have some stuff that I would define as jungle, drum and bass. You have more electro stuff. You have ravey tunes, super energetic. With also collaborations with Theo, of course.
As I told you, Why every time we're talking about Theo, you laugh? Why?
Because Theo is a great person. Yes.
But is your friend?
We met actually. We had him on the show. We had he was I think we had him on the show at the beginning of lockdown, so basically 1 year ago.
Okay.
And I don't remember how we came across him. I believe he found one of us music, maybe Tape Feed, Alessandro. And then we're like, we need to reach out to him. We need to interview him. And he was fucking amazing. Like, he's great. Like,
and consider that, for example, I want to tell you about this story that the track we did with Theo was a collaboration that was born because I saw that video of the reviews of the track. So when I published the Nakba with Zadig, he did a video on Instagram, you know, with the gun, a toy gun, and it was crazy. And I said, "What the fuck is this guy, bro?" And I said, "This guy is crazy." But in the same time, I heard his voice and I said, "Oh, this voice is so deep." You know,
super profound.
Super low, you know. So I say maybe this guy can sing in my song because, as I told you, that I work with major or you know big labels, and as I study music, I like also the pop music. So sometimes I try to do the music with the lyrics or some things that can maybe. Because I have a lot of friends that listen my music and I say, okay, your music is cool, but it's music that I dance all in raves. Maybe it was cool to listen something with some lyrics. So that's why I try to do a jungle track with the lyrics. I mean, he's not singing and he's not a singer, but it
looks like he's announcing something. It's like speaking.
It's speaking. So I like to do something different. And for this album, I did it with collaboration, some lyrics to you know to to say some story for the people. For example, I'm a big fan of the video games, so the idea was to do a track, so jungle in this case, but with the sound of the video games, because there are samples of all the stuff, video game stuff. The sounds you listen in video games are the sample of Gran Turismo 2. Okay,
Wow.
they are the sound of the menu when you choose the machine. And it's crazy.
That's the track video game. Yeah, it's a different track. It's not the video one. Yeah.
And of that track, I say, okay, in this track, I want someone that maybe can tell a story about the video games of the 90s. And I said, maybe Theo is the right guy. And we did. So, you know, I didn't know him in person because there was the lockdown. So we reached by Instagram. But it's cool because for every person comes in a story and a connection, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And I think Theo is amazing. I think he's gonna go places because he's very authentic and very unique. Like, you know, when
exactly,
you
bro.
listen to what he does, it's his music and not just Instagram and everything. Like, it's Kiyonasa, you know, it's no one else.
Sure. And now he's growing up, so I'm really happy about you.
Yeah. You released some Rekids a few months ago.
Not bad. I mean, no.
Very good.
Going back to your question, I can say that the work of scenery is to find more type of music together, but connected in a good way. So for me, producing an album is, I tell in every interview, is like to tell a story to the people. So I don't like to put only dance floor track. Okay. For this album, I put more dance floor track than I technician. But in the album, also you can hear an intro, an outro that is really electronic music. So like ambient stuff, you know. For the second track called Endless Optimism that I really loved. It's so much dreamy, not so techno. So there's the album like a climax that comes then comes down with the maybe melancholic jungle stuff with the liquid, they call the liquid jungle music, and then comes techno again and then finish, you know what I mean? It's like to wave, it's like to the wave of the sea, you know.
Did you I think you managed to tell a very good story, and
thank you.
No, it's absolutely true in my view, and despite like you have a lot of like, you can call them genre, but you kept your style. That's an interesting thing.
Because I try to develop my Detroit stuff in a more European way. So in a technician, it was like a tribute for Detroit music. Scenery is like to not a tribute, but it's the years that I spend in music, in festival, in something that I lived. So there's something that you can listen in the festival, like big tunes like the Art Groove Era or Biologic Horror. There are big tracks. But at the same time, I like to put something that people can listen in the car, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have something in mind that is different from doing an EP? Like when you were thinking about the album and the tracks, were you thinking about, for example, the audience to be listening to the album at home compared to a club, or you didn't really think about where people will listen to your music?
I think both, bro. Because you have the decision. So you can listen the big tracks into the festivals, but at the same time, if you listen all the album, maybe that you are doing a travel into another city with your car, you can listen, you know, from the start to the end, the story about the album.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense also because the album gives you more space to do that, right? So compared to an EP where you have less space, less tracks. In the album, you go wider.
I mean, for example, when I do EPs or single stuff, I like to push only techno. I'm honest, because the system about music now is something like you push big music that the other DJs play in festivals, you know. It's like a system that's running. But for an album, it's different. So I can tell you, I maybe, for example, ambient music or electronic music is difficult for me for pushing in a single EP. So maybe I can put only one jungle track as the last track of the EP. In fact, was really like an outro. In fact, was really cool because I don't remember the time, but I did an EP with Steve Rackman, that it's called the Time Struggle, and the last track is drum and bass. So there was a feedback by a DJ that I don't remember. They say it's cool, that type of stuff, that the last track it's drum and bass. So the new outro track are like drum and bass, and I was lagging because it's fun. So I like to put lot of big stuff in single EPs, but I like also to push an album with a story, with ambient tracks that can maybe people can relax, you know, or other type of feelings. Maybe can scare. I don't know which type of feeling is for every people, but something different or change every time, you know.
Yes. And is there any particular track of the album that you think represents you and your music?
Difficult question. I think that new hard groove era is the type is the type of music I want to play, because it's like the newer groove era, as the title says. It's like the old groove music by Gaetano Parisi or Marco Carola stuff. I love that music from Naples. But it's something like new school. Okay, so it's groovy. It's like house, but it's like techno. There are some chord inside. So also, I'm big fan of the new rave songs of the other artists, the France guys. I like Emily Lance, a lot of stuffs of the 9x9. But art groove era for me, it's more classy style. You know what I mean? More like Detroit, but you know, in a way that people can dance. But also, I love the rave stuff because biological horror for me is like a big, you know, a rave track that you can listen at awakenings or big festival. So I like to, you know, involve some type of things.
I love newer groove era because it's it's fast, groovy, very energetic. I prefer that style to the big rave stuff at the moment because it's a bit more maybe you would say fine. It's a bit more not in your face. The sounds are not so bright, not in your face, but really cool stuff.
Sure. And also, for example, I told you Endless Optimism is a track that I love because it's like you know, it's like a song that you can listen in a film, in a movie, or in an anime, manga, you know, or in a video game. So the idea about this album, it's something that it's like the future. You know what I say? A future realistic, maybe dystopian, something like maybe Cyberpunk 2077, something like cyberpunk landscapes, or something like you know, future with robotics. You know what I mean? And a track of Endless Optimism is really cool for that type of stuff.
It's futuristic.
In fact, one of my biggest dreams for the future maybe is to do something for the video games, maybe some music for, I don't know, but I like it.
I'm gonna ask you a question about I'm gonna ask you a question about video games in a second, but
okay,
just conclude on the album. You launched it during the pandemic, which is fucking painful, right? Because difficult. It's a 3-record album, 3 LPs that need to be printed in a printing facility, and it's much harder to promote it. People probably buy less records. You don't connect that to gigs, so you cannot do like a tour to showcase the album. What did you do differently in launching this album during the pandemic?
Bro, to be honest, the album was produced before the pandemic.
Okay.
So it was produced in many years, but finished in 2019, 2012. It was really difficult in the pandemic time to program, you know, the way how to promoting the album. because, for example, in this album, I did many things like the official videos. So it was difficult at that time to understand how to work the things, you know?
Yeah.
And to be honest, was difficult also, even because if there are not festivals and DJs are not playing, it's difficult that people understand the impact of the album like in the old times. Because, for example, I was talking about with a guy some weeks ago in Italy about Biarchi, for example, the artist that I love. That there was the record called "I Wanna Go Bang." You remember?
Of course,
lot of
summer
DJs
record. Techno.
Exactly. It was a big tune that a lot of DJs played, but this big hype inside the music is also for the fans, not only for people that works in music. So if there are not the events, people can't understand that DJ maybe play "I Wanna Go Bang," then Nina Kravitz play "I Wanna Go Bang." The people start to say, okay, maybe this record is coming out, something is happened. It's like to live the music in that way. If we stay at home, bro, it's really difficult because people maybe listen it, but it's not the same stuff. Maybe people they've not the good way to listen the music. So that was the problem, I think, of the pandemic. It was to change the idea of the people. And also a lot of artists push the music. So if there are a lot of music, it's difficult for the people to understand and to take some time for your album. Okay.
Yeah,
it's like to say, if an artist send me the music and send me an album, for an album, bro, I mean, it's like 4 or 5 days to listen an album. It's not like 1 hour and skip and skip and skip and that's enough. No, bro. But you know that in these difficult times, everything is really fast. So people lost some things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And hopefully we're gonna go back to enjoying music live with other people very soon.
I hope so, bro, because it's essential. It's essential for this. It's essential not only for us that play, but also for the fans that maybe can receive some infos in the minds about music.
Yeah,
it
is essential. And like we were saying when you were talking about you going to house clubs, like listening to house music. It's so enjoyable to be there, like sharing the same experience with other people. And now, we are home.
Yeah, sure, bro. Exactly, bro.
But I'm gonna ask you a question on video games. But guys who are listening, if you have any questions from Mattia, type them in the chat.
Type here if you have a question, guys, please.
Mattia, in the meantime, let me ask you.
Yeah.
I also read in a bunch of interviews you love video games.
Yeah.
Tell us one video game you could never live without.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Did you recognize him?
Mario Kart. This is Mario Kart.
Yes, is it?
Wow.
Yeah, I love the Nintendo stuff. When I was a child, I was a big fan of Pokemon and Mario Kart, and I'm still playing Mario Kart and really big. So I'm really strong in Mario Kart because I do the tournaments.
Yeah, wow.
Two years ago, I won a tournament of Mario Kart. Wow. Really? I'm a gamer. I'm not a fucking nerd, bro. So
that's amazing. So I remember I had Nintendo 64, 64.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah, that was the start of the era.
The start of the beginning. The beginning. Yeah, but also I love to play FIFA. I love soccer. Also, I like to play Mortal Kombat, Tekken. So I love to play every type of video game. I also like Warzone of war games. But after months and months to play, at the moment I try to to live the life and not stay every time to the games.
Yeah, and of course it's easy to get sucked in.
But I love games. So for example, I played Cyberpunk this winter and it was so cool. In 2 days I finished the game, bro. In 2 days.
It's a long game, so it's like an adventure game.
It's really long game, bro.
Wow.
So if I like some things, I'm really addicted then, and I like to to finish. I told you a story when I was in Istanbul. I played there in Turkey, and I played on Saturday, but I come back in Italy on Tuesday, and I had a Game Boy with me, and I finished the Pokemon Red in one day in the hotel, so in my room. So bro. I mean,
yeah, when you were, in another country, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's literally addictive when you play video game, and it's enjoyable. I just play for hours.
Yeah, bro, because also video games connect people. So like music,
like music, and it's a huge, especially like when you are stuck at home for the pandemic, and it's nice to play with someone else on the other side of the world.
Yeah, and also I like to play video games with my friends, because I like to play with myself, but you know that they are the party that you can play as yourself in your television, okay, and the people are at home and you can talk with them, on the headphone. But in my opinion, I prefer to stay live with the people and they play together, for talking about together. I don't like to stay every time with the headphone. It's stressful, bro.
Yeah. It's too similar to producing music.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have a question from the audience. When are you going to release the first release with Zippo? If you have any dates in mind.
I think it's coming out on August or September, because there were some problems on the pressing plant, because the pressing plant of Berlin, and it was burned. There was a there was like an incident inside. Crazy, bro.
Wow.
So everything is coming really slow, but we will release after I think at the end of the summer. It's a mini album, so it's only one vinyl, but with 8 tracks inside.
Wow, but so it's on Pushmaster?
No. We have it's another type of project, bro. It's called Midnight Conversation, because I was born on the 28th of June.
Yeah.
And Zippo was born on the 29th of June.
No way. So you
you share
like a
so Midnight Conversation, it's exactly the connection between the 2 days,
28th of June, so your birthday was basically a week and a half ago.
Exactly.
Wow.
29.
Yeah.
Next year 30 and I'm old. Yeah.
I mean,
but it's coming. But this EP is coming out, and it's really cool because it's something like jazz, something like house music, but that type of UK house, jazzy UK house. So there are a lot of really cool tracks. There's a track with a group of Italy called the Capo Fortuna, that they are really cool with the flute, with the guitar. Really nice music.
Wow.
And I love this type of music because, for example, I like techno, and it's my life techno, but it's not like to play the real music. So that type of music, I told you that I play when I was a child. I can play it, and I really can play the keyboards. I can really express in music. Okay.
Yeah. And Zippo is a great artist as well, also, who knows a lot about music.
Did you invite him for Home of Sound?
Not yet, but I mean, we know him, so we already said that we're gonna have a shot at some point. He lives in Berlin, and I'm in Berlin now, so.
Bro, you must do it, because he's a great artist and also a great person. So I recommend you the great person.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I got the chance to meet with Giuseppe like a few times. It's amazing. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because maybe a lot of artists are not super people. So if one artist is a great artist, but a great person, that can tell you something different, something more, deep.
Yeah, exactly. Deep, and also then more enjoyable to speak with people who are nice.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very nice. Shout out to Zippo. And
do it, bro. Do it.
Yeah. It's on our list.
Because it's a guy like me that loves all type of music.
Yeah.
So it's cool when you talk to people that can understand everything about music, from jazz to techno to hip hop to house. That's really important.
Yeah, it is. Yes. And another question from the audience. I'm trying to read. Yes. Okay. Are you taking demos for Pushmasters? Like, can people send you stuff?
For sure. Yes. They found the mail on the page. It's called pushmasterrec at gmail.com. So they can send music and I answer every time.
Amazing. We're gonna also put in the show notes for people who want to see the email.
Sure. And if the people want to send me his music, it's info@mattiatrani.com. I always listen music.
Wow. Thank you.
It's every label owner or every artist must do it for me. It's like to religion, If you have a label, you must to listen the music of the people. Because you can find something good, and also if I have time, there are a lot of my supporters and fans that send me the music, and I say to them if the track works or if not, if there's something that can work or if not. Not a lot of people do it, but I like to do it because I love my fans and supporters, so it's important for me.
Thank you for doing that. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate that because, as you said, it's not everybody does it, and
it's crazy because like the last year that was the pandemic was so crazy that people didn't understand and didn't answer every time. I don't know. It's crazy because we were a lot of people at home, but people were so slow, to answer, and it was crazy for me. I say, what the fuck? What are you doing in the morning?
Yeah.
How can it's possible that you're not, answering? I don't know. Nobody will know.
Nobody will know. I think maybe the answer is that people were very depressed. Like I certainly was depressed. For example, like when you feel like your purpose going out to clubs doesn't exist, it's very hard for you to even to work. You need to make an effort to work, and yeah, it was a mess last year for a lot of us.
It's crazy because the system is changed, the world is changing, so a lot of people working from home. And it's not like years ago that people were, really fast and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you stay at home, but you are so slow and maybe you are not professional like years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. In my opinion, the opposite. As for me, I try to be always the same.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes people are playing or doing some stuff or travel, so it's difficult to answer, but I try every time.
Thank you for doing that. I on behalf of people who send music, it's very important to do that.
Yeah,
very good. And there's another question: do you have any tips for producers who get stuck, who don't find inspiration? They are stuck with the inspiration.
I mean, I have many inspiration, man. So I have inspiration in every type of music, I can say. But also when I travel or when I see people, also talking with you now is inspiration for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Talking with people that listen the stories about life is inspiration for me. Also playing a video game is inspiration for me. To watching a movie is an inspiration for me. So it's everything and nothing, this type of answer, because I have many inspiration in music, bro. I can tell you how many are. So
it seems you find inspiration by doing something or exposing yourself to something, and then you find your inspiration in things that happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, for example, some days ago I watching a movie and I saw maybe some photos or videos about Cocorico of the 90s, and makes me inspiration maybe this week to do a trance track, because I remember the time. If I watching a concert in a TV by, I don't know, Herbie Hancock or some jazz stuff, maybe I can sit on the piano and I try to play something and I make music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's great. That you never exhaust.
I try to take energy. You know,
Yeah.
the energy is so much important.
Very true. I really agree. And I'll ask you a question. It might be related. What does success and satisfaction in life mean for Mattia?
I think that a satisfied thing or satisfaction for me is live with the music. So, as you know, it's my dream music. I was born in a musical family, so you know, do the things and live with the music is the goal for me. So in fact, there are some moments that are maybe depressed or sad because we don't work since 17 months. So you know what I mean? It's like that you start, you are nobody, you find the right way, you are growing up, people like to start to following you, you are doing a lot of gigs, and at the same times arrives the pandemic, and you don't play. Okay, maybe you can play at home or with friends, or you can produce, but the money that you receive by the gigs are not the same things about the production. So that it's really difficult because the situation is terrible, man. I mean, if they're not resolve the problem, I can tell you that I need to find a regular job, but something like that, you know. And I'm not the same. I'm not the only one, you know.
Everybody who makes music full time, it's in the same shitty situation, unfortunately.
So it's like to say you follow a dream, like to live with the music, and now you miss something, and it's really painful, bro. Really.
Very painful. I feel for you, and I sincerely wish like this is going to be like transitory, and we're gonna start seeing the light and be able to plan in the next months. Because that's the other big problem is like not knowing when, if
when, where, why. Many questions, bro. Many questions, and we don't know anything because as you see, some in Italy, the situation is terrible because we are not open since months, and people is staying, you know, in the squares or doing a lot of things, but the club are closed. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just want to live with the music, with my dream. I want to continue this dream. You know what I mean? So this is the thing that I stay good and I stay happy, and without it's really painful, as I told you.
Yeah, no, of course. And yeah, big up for releasing the album anyways, and just keep pushing forward because it's important also to send a message to people who are maybe might be looking at you as an example of someone who was doing whatever they can to make music. It's a great thing, right?
I think that if you believe in something, you need to go ahead every time. I can understand that people maybe lost some money, lost some energies, but the way how you believe in something is the most important thing. And I did it, for example, in the album, because the original idea was to publish it on the 2020, but yeah, I postponed because you know, it was like to kill myself to publish it in on 2020, because I said maybe in 2021 I can do maybe a tour, because you know that I play with machines, so I like to, you know, to going live with this album, to express my music with my people, but it's still missing. So it's really difficult, but I mean, I like to do it. I did it, and it's okay for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, exactly. And it's important to keep doing that for as much as we can to do
bro.
the stuff that we can do. I love that.
For sure.
And last couple of questions. We're gonna do a rapid series of questions before we wrap up. Who is a guest that you think we should really speak with and why? Dipo, of course. It's on our
Dipo, of course. I suggest you maybe Adia, that is a really cool girl, and also she's a singer, so that maybe she can tell you something about maybe singer or something about music. But also There are many artists, bro. I don't know. Like Indira Paganotto is a cool artist from Spain that is releasing some cool stuff. So maybe, and also she's playing a lot in travel around the world. So really cool.
I'm gonna check them now.
Yeah, she's really cool. And also Theo, you did it. So other artists, maybe Hadon or Julian Mueller. I love their type of stuff. That they're cool. Also MRD is really good artist that played really cool music. He's releasing really big stuff. Also Matasism is a cool artist, bro. There are many talents, bro.
Yeah. But
Many.
I took your suggestions and I'm writing them down so I have them in our
There
list.
are also, for example, there's an artist called Nima in Italy that is really cool. That is releasing some cool stuff in his label. So there are many, bro. Many. Also, Adiel is my friend from Italy. That maybe
Of course,
Alessia is cool. So many, bro. I don't want to say one name and another that maybe people say you didn't say my name.
No. But it's just like, you know, your favorite artist is.
As from my part, I can say Zippo, because Zippo, I can tell you that can give you, you know, big concept in the interview.
Very cool. I'm gonna check them all out. Thank you. And this is a traditional question for Almost Sound, which is, what question would you like us to ask the next guest without knowing who they're going to be?
It's really difficult, this one, but I can say maybe two is like that. What is the first feeling if you think about music? And the second one could be what do you think when you wake up in the morning? But it's so commercial, maybe.
No.
But it's cool, babe, because every people maybe think about some different things. So
yeah, I'm sure it's pretty fun, and as you might imagine, we have a couple of
you want my answer about the second question is like I'm hungry.
Yeah. Breakfast.
Well, like, yeah, for sure.
Nice. And I'm gonna ask you questions from previous guests. How important is for an artist to care about what their audience wants versus what the artist wants?
Who work the audience?
Sorry, how important is for an artist to play and make music about, you know, based on what their audience wants them to do? For example,
okay.
If your audience really wants you to do banging techno, how important is to do that?
To be honest, it's crazy because it's important, but it's not. I mean, if you release some big stuff, maybe you can think about that it's so big, but maybe it's not, because if you at the same time release something more underground, it's so much appreciated and more maybe than the mainstream music. So I think the right key is to change. Sometimes you did it, and sometimes you did more underground stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe the right way is to do what you think in that moment. So if you like to do ambient techno, you can do it. You can do it also ravey stuff, maybe more mainstream, and maybe you can involve together, maybe, and release together. And it's like that I did in the album, you know, because there were some tunes that I say, okay, I want these big tunes played by big DJs in a festival. But at the same time, I say, no, I want to tell a story, so I need more, you know, ambient tracks. But also, for example, Jungle Business Shit, that is a really big jungle tracks. I don't know how many DJs they will play, because jungle, DJs play jungle, but not a lot. Okay, so
not many. Yeah,
but I wanted to make a really seriously jungle tracks, and for example, that jungle tracks the people played.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it not depends every time to say, okay, I want to do this, and it happens,
Yeah.
But it's a really cool question.
It has to be from your heart. And I'll give you another bonus question. If you were not doing music or electronic music, what would you be doing in life?
As job or
job. Yes, another job.
But if I am like a sport or something like a regular job,
anything you want, but nothing with music.
In sport, I love golf. So I was like, to be a professional golfer was a dream because if you win the tournaments, you have a lot of money and you are okay in your life. Another type of thing I do that maybe people don't know that really love to, how is it called in English? Doppiatore? Dubber. So I would like to be a dubber of animes or cartoons.
Very cool.
Because I like dubbers a lot.
Yeah,
Italian dubbers are really great.
Maybe the best in the world. I don't know, but really good.
I think so, but maybe to dub some stuff like cartoons or the animes that I love will be really cool. But also I can tell you maybe, I don't know, to be a professional drawing manga or an author of manga or something like that, or a programmer of video games. There are many stuff, bro. I mean,
the video game would be.
I think now I need to think about it because if the situation remains the same, bro, I don't know if with music it's a good future.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
No.
But the people knows that it's really difficult at the moment. So, for example, tomorrow I will go in Rome to protest.
Yeah, about the situation. So
yeah,
shout out for people who are going to Rome tomorrow to protest and try to solve the situation with
I will be there. So if the people wants to stay with us, it's really important because we need to stay together. And in that time, I think that if you protest in a good way, maybe the government reach out about, So,
yeah, exactly. It's very important to manifest our ideas.
I don't know that people don't stay at home and don't do anything.
Yeah.
You need to have, the
let your voice be heard.
Yeah, let your voice heard.
Yes,
exactly, bro.
And on that note, I'm gonna ask you the very last question.
The last one, really?
Yes,
How much we did for the interview?
I think we're doing okay. We're doing 1 hour and something. It felt less. 1 hour and 20.
Perfect. It's the right time of the interview, right?
I think it's the right time. Yes, exactly. Perfect. And I wanted to end like on a good note. So I wanted to ask you anything professionally, like music wise or otherwise, any project releases, gigs, performances that you're personally really looking forward to, something that makes you happy.
In techno, I think I really want to come back in Tbilisi, in Georgia, because I played there in a kiddie club and it was one of the best experience I did in my life. So definitely. But also in the same time, I would like to play in Ibiza.
Yeah.
Because I never played there. I played only in Formentera with Ilario many years ago. And of course, I really want to come back to Berlin, to come back in Berghain, but also not to play, to enjoy the situation as clubber. It's so much important, man. It's so much inspiring. So, and also I can tell you here in Italy that I love Cocorico. It's my best favorite club. So for me, I hope it comes back and I hope to play with the Pyramid. That is an experience unique, man.
Yeah, you will get there, I'm sure. I can see that.
So. Yeah. It's coming back in October, maybe reopens, but let's see about Delta, blah, 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 and COVID. Let's see this shit. I hope this shit happen. Anyway, other stuff. What do you say? Only about experience that I want to.
Anything, even like it is beyond music. Anything that you are looking forward to.
looking forward to of my music.
For you. Yes.
So you mean maybe upcoming releases or something?
Yeah, projects, releases.
After this album, I decided to have a little bit stop because I gave all of myself inside this project. So I hope I come back to play and maybe go on holidays.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think about the remixes of the album because, as I told you, that maybe many artists inspire me. I like that to have the remixes of this big project because I want to see and to listen how the feelings, of their approach of my music. So I will publish, I think, at the end of the year with the remix. And I want big names inside, so friends and people that I really respect really a lot. And I will start this summer to organize everything, and will be not easy, for sure.
Know, I'm sure. So,
and also, for example, I want to do something different. I mean, not so different because it's like to do something that a lot of people doing, like a contest. But I want a contest of remix of the album. So I will put a track and the parts, and I want to listen the remix of unknown people. And if someone do a good remix, I will publish.
Amazing.
On the label with the great names. So I think this type of thing is really inspired for the people.
Yeah, for sure. And once you have that out, once you announce it, we're gonna reshare it across. See what ends.
Because we did the announcement we do now. So you are the first that know this thing. I will do a contest. I think at the end of the summer that I will decide. Before I will send the parts to the DJs, to the big names, and then if something they decide type of tracks, if remains something that can be cool to be remixed, I will prepare the parts, share, and let's see what the people can do.
Amazing. I'm really looking forward to that now.
Yeah.
And for sure, we're gonna reshare it in our network, and I think people are gonna be very excited. There's Tom Hates, they're saying yes. Valentina is saying just love. Mattia, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Really, it was really a pleasure. So thanks for having me, bro.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. And thanks to everyone for listening.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.
Bye, guys. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao, everyone. Hello, this is Joseph again. If you made it this far into the podcast, we would love to hear your feedback, and you can leave any comments anonymously or with your name, and also suggest whom we should interview next via the link bit.ly/HOS_feedback. Basically, bit.ly HoS_feedback. If you're a creator or work in music, you can also check our website www.homeofsound.co.uk for on-demand masterclasses with creators such as Ansom, Scarameria, François X, Swarm Intelligence, Freddy K, Face Fatal, Vijay Martinovna, Malika Maria, Lag, PSK, Romek, Manny D, Arjun Bagale, and many, many more. And again, thank you for listening, engaging, and being with us home. Until next time.